Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thanks for joining this instance of the Antrea community meeting. For today, we have two topics in the agenda. Initially, we will discuss a new announcement for supporting a configurable default SNAT for Antrea egress, and Pulkit will take care of that. Then after that, we will go over community feature request, or in other words, issues that are in the backlog on GitHub, and we will go over those issues with LAN. So this is the agenda for today, and I will say that probably we can get started. So Pulkit, please go ahead.
Sure. Thank you, Salvatore. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So hello everyone. Today I'll be discussing about the configurable enforcement of SNAT for static egress case. The topics we are going to cover is introduction of the issue, what's the inconsistency in the behavior of egress, followed by the solution and demo. So if I explain you what the issue and the problem we're trying to solve is that if a static egress, by static egress here I mean is that if an egress IP is specified without any external IP pool in the egress CRD, then that is a static egress. So if a static egress is created, but the IP which is assigned in the CRD that is not available on any node, then the port to the external traffic will be dropped because what will happen is that the controller thinks or the agent thinks that there is an egress which is created, so it tries to send the packet to the egress IP, but in actual that IP is not assigned to any node, so any packet would be dropped. So if I explain to you with the help of a diagram, so you can see that this is a pod, and suppose there is an egress assigned to this pod, and if that egress IP, this is a static egress I'm talking about, so if that egress IP is assigned to any node, then the packet would be transferred to that node, and then it would be forwarded by the egress node to suppose google.com we are pinging. And but if on the other case that egress IP is not available on any node, then that packet would be dropped. So this is the issue that we are trying to solve. Now coming to what is the inconsistency in the behavior. So if we see the dynamic egress, that is the egress with external IP pool. So in that case, what happens is if the egress IP cannot be assigned to any node. So in the case of egress with external IP pool, the IP is selected from the external IP pool which is specified, and we assign it to the node on whichever node it can be assigned. But in that case, if it cannot be assigned to any node, or we can say if no node is available, then instead of dropping the packet, what it does is it forwards the packet to the external traffic, like whatever we are doing, via the local node SNAT. So if you see the diagram, this is for the case of dynamic egress. So if there is a packet, suppose we want to ping google.com, and if there is an egress IP which is assigned to the node, then in that case it follows the normal flow and the packet is forwarded by the egress node. But if what the difference here with the static egress, that is if the egress IP is not available on any node, then what it will do is it will forward the packet via the normal node SNAT, which is not in the case of static egress. So here comes the inconsistency between the behavior of both the egresses. So to come up with this, to resolve this inconsistency, we have come up with a solution. So the solution is to introduce a new field, which is strict enforcement in the specification of egress. So what this does is, if we set this field to true, it means that we are, so this is currently only for static egress. And now what it does, so if this field is set to true, then what happens is if it will strictly enforce the egress rules, that is the current behavior. If there is no node with egress available with egress IP, then it will drop the packet because that is a strict enforcement of egress policy. But in the other case, if it is set to false, that means we do not want a strict enforcement of egress policy. In that case, the behavior would be the same as the egress with external IP pool. That is, if the node is not available, then the packet would be forwarded by the normal node SNAT. So if you see it with the help of a diagram, so what happens is if first is a normal flow, if we are pinging google.com and the egress IP is assigned to a node, then the packet would be forwarded by the egress node. But in the second case, if the egress IP is not available on any node, then what it will do is it will check that if the strict enforcement is true. So if it is true, it will follow the current behavior, that is the packet will get dropped and we will have strict enforcement of egress. But if it is false, then we will have the best effort, which is that we will pass the packet via the normal local node SNAT. So this is what the solution which we have come up to make it consistent and also make it configurable based on the user need. So anyone has any questions regarding this, or should I proceed with the demo for the same?
I guess you can go ahead with the demo, Pulkit.
Sure. I'll just share another screen. So I hope my terminal is visible.
Yes, we can see the comment.
Sure. So this is my cluster I've created with one Nginx pod, and I have labeled it with app equals to egress. Now I have few CRDs available with me. So one is this one. So this is the case where we have set the strict enforcement to false. We have assigned an egress IP, and this IP is available on a node. So if the IP is available on a node, then strict enforcement will not be checked. So it is either false or true. The packet would be passed via the egress node. So I can show you that strict enforcement has no impact if the IP is available on a node. So I'll apply this. You can see that we have the egress IP, egress node. So if I just exec into the pod and do a trace flow, you can see it succeeded via the, and we have the egress component, egress node available. So that means it has no impact. Now, even if I set to true, then also there won't be any change. So I'll delete this egress. So here I've set the strict enforcement to true, but again, no effect on this, and it will have the normal working. You can see it has the IP node. I'll do unsequence. It again succeeded. Now comes the case where the effect will take place. So I'll first delete this egress. Have this case. So here I have assigned an egress IP which is not available on any node, and I have set the strict enforcement as false. So what will happen is that the packet won't go through egress, it will go via normal local node SNAT because strict enforcement is false. So here you can see that there is no egress IP, no node because node is not available. And now if I exec into Antrea pod, and I do a trace flow. It succeeded and it didn't went through egress, it went via normal local node SNAT. Now if I exit and I delete this egress and I apply the another egress where I have set the strict enforcement to true. So here the egress IP is also not available and strict enforcement is also set to true. So it means that the packet will not be passed through normal local SNAT and the packet would be dropped. So if I apply this egress, so again, no egress IP, no node. And if I exec and we do a trace flow, so here the trace flow is expected to time out. You can see we have timeout. It is still running because and the packet is set to drop because it is forwarded to tries to forward it to the egress node because it sees that there is an egress, but in actual we do not have any egress node available with that IP. So this packet is dropped and it is not sent to google.com. So this is how strict enforcement work. So any questions regarding this?
Hi, Pocket. Yeah, I'm thinking, uh, from use case perspective, uh, I'm not very sure whether a Boolean can work for all cases, and if setting strict enforcements to false can be easily understood as the traffic will be netted by the node IP. So I I I wonder if enumeration could work better, like because the feature is basically how we handle uh, egress assignment failure. So like some other Kubernetes API, how about enumeration like failure policy and have some values like ignore to indicate that we will not do anything uh, based on the assignment of egress IP, and some value like node as net means that if the egress is IP is not assigned to any node, we will use the node IP to do the SNet. And another value like drop, which means when the egress IP is not assigned to any node, we will drop the egress traffic to avoid mistakenly SNetting the traffic using unexpected IP. Maybe there could be also some other cases.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's suggestion. Thanks, Shan, for that. Yeah, we can do it that way also. That's also a good suggestion that instead of having a strict enforcement fields, we can have a failure policy set up. But the thing is that it will only be for static egress because in dynamic egress, we cannot drop the packet if the IP is not assigned to any node. Because in case of static egress, what happens is the egress IP is there in the spec. So we can have a check condition that if egress IP is there but the node is not available, so it means that egress IP cannot be assigned to any node. But in case of dynamic egress, until and unless the egress IP is assigned to any node, we do not have it populated in the egress spec. So in that case, the egress is not applied till we have a node available. So this feature and this failure policy will only be for static egress.
Actually, that's my point. Because when I apply dynamic egress,
Mhm.
maybe a user's expectation is that until there is an egress node has been assigned with this IP, do not route the traffic to that node to avoid the traffic being assignated unexpectedly. Right? So, which means that before the egress is set up correctly, do not allow any egress traffic.
Yeah.
And
So in
what's the problem with dynamic egress? Maybe I missed the point.
Okay, so problem with dynamic egress is like actually there is no problem with dynamic egress. There is a problem with static egress. With dynamic
Okay.
egress, it happens that if the egress IP is not assigned to any node, it will not create any egress traffic, which you just said, and it will follow the normal node SNAT procedure because the
Yeah.
controller and agent, they will not even know that there is any egress applied. But in case of static egress, what happens is since there is an egress IP already populated in the egress spec, so in the check condition, it checks that there is a egress IP in the spec, but not the node. So if it sees the
I
egress,
think this it's the same for dynamic and static egress, right? The egress IP in the spec is always the desired IP. Only the egress IP in status is the actual IP reported by the data path.
Yeah, but in case of static egress, what happens is if it is even if the node is not available, it installs the pod SNAT flows. So now we have the two things. So either we make it configurable or we directly make it consistent with dynamic egress. So there what we can do is that it will follow the same procedure as the dynamic egress, and if there is no node available for egress IP, we will follow the normal node SNAT. And if there is a node with egress IP, then we will send it via egress node. So we will remove this all configuration thing, and we will directly make it consistent with the with the dynamic egress.
Sorry, I don't get it. By introducing this configuration, isn't our uh, the introduction of the I think the introduction of the configuration is to make the behavior consistent and configurable, right? What's the problem to have to have them unified with this configuration? When I apply a egress and I set the failure policy to node net, it means that regardless of statically configured egress IP or dynamically assigned egress IP, I want my port use the node IP when the IP I configured for in the egress didn't work. And by configuring the policy to drop, I mean regardless of how the egress IP is assigned, I don't want to use other IPs other than the egress IP I configured. I thought that's the point of the configuration, right? By having it, we can unify the behavior and making it configurable, so it could work for users or of different cases.
Yeah, I agree with your point. Like I'm saying that we can have the configurable policy also, but currently, if you see the dynamic egress, so in dynamic egress, we do not have any like currently we do not have any configuration option in our in our egress spec. But still, what dynamic egress does is that if there is no node and no IP available, it will follow the normal node SNAT, and if it is available, then it will go via the egress node.
I understand that, but my point is the motivation of having having this new configuration is to make the behaviors consistent and configurable, right? I understand that they are inconsistent previously.
Sure, then we can have the failure policy set up there. And according to the
Okay.
option, like we can like I will remove this. I will just we just need to change the name from strict enforcement to failure policy, and instead of true and false we can have the values, and based on the values we will define the behavior in the egress.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Paul, I joined late, so Paul, I missed the early part. So I wonder, I have a dumb question. So I wonder why we need to have a fall back to the default SNAT, the SNAT with no local load IP. Why we cannot just always drop the packet?
Actually, this is because like we already had this implemented, and also there may be a use case that like if there is no egress IP, or like maybe by mistake the user has created some static egress and that IP is not available on any node, or by chance that node is down, then like the user might want to send the traffic via the local node SNAT. So this can be a use case
Okay.
there. That's why and already a dynamic egress, that is the egress with external IP pool, that was following this traffic path, that if there is no node IP available, then we need to send it via the local node SNAT. So that's why we tried to keep it same for the static egress.
So we don't really get any user requirements for the just based on our assumption. We feel we can.
Yes.
Okay. I don't have a strong opinion, but I'm just thinking, is that really, useful to provide the option here? We just dumbly drop the packet if there's no egress IP available.
The problem was raised because in our current implementation, we have different behaviors when the egress IP is allocated from the pool or is statically configured. And when we try to unify the behaviors, we are not sure which one is better behavior. So we wanted to add this configuration and leave the choice to users. We assume that for some users, egress source IP may be best effort. They may prefer having a working egress connection.
Then what's
Rather,
the default value in your mind?
uh, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's why I wanted to having a configuration and leave this to users. But maybe we should use the 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 dynamic one behavior, the dynamic behavior. I mean the behavior of our previous dynamic egress, because it has been used by wider users, and they
That
will not
means
see.
if IP not available, we default to local SNAT, local node SNAT.
Yes, that's the default for
Okay,
now.
I see.
Yeah. That means that you will have egress connection even when your egress IP cannot be assigned.
Okay.
Yeah. Guaranteeing that you you have connection, yeah, rather than dropping it.
Okay. My feeling that if we don't have any existing implementation, I feel we should just drop the traffic. But to your point, you have a existing implementation for dynamic egress. Sure, if you want to be safe, I'm fine. You add a new mode. Sure, that works for me. Thanks for the clarification.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I have a question regarding the new configs. I saw that you delete the egress every time and you try before you create it. So is that a new config immutable, or if
No, no.
even we? Mhm.
No, that's not a new addition. Actually, I just removed that because we had a single pod, so if there would have been any existing egress, then it would have went through that, so it would affected our testing. So that's the only reason that I deleted the previous egress before creating a new one. There is no other change in that.
No, I mean, is the new config. I mean, is for example, if we will have the failure policy, do we want to make it immutable once the user setting it,
No, no,
or it's
it can be changed.
okay? So
It will-
update event is also supported, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Mm. Yeah. Hello, Salvatore.
Okay.
I guess we can. Yeah. If
Yes,
there's
yes, yes.
no.
I don't see any other question coming, so we can move to the next topic. Yes, go ahead, Alan.
Thank you.
And thanks
Yeah.
a lot,
Okay.
Purkit. Thanks a lot, Purkit, for your demo.
Yeah. Thank you. Once again. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. This is a list which report the issue list reported by the end user. There are 10 issues. I will go through one by one, but maybe focus on some more important issues. This one is to add a node selector in the class group. This one is actually some users report that they want to, sorry, it's a little slow. Yeah, the customer's environment a little special. They have a few clusters, but they share the one service across different clusters. So they like to control that only configure the service to access target Kubernetes API service. This Kubernetes API service is a shared one, and they like to set up the Antrea class NL policy to control the traffic. But for now, based on current class group, we actually will not be able to do that because in our class group members, the Kubernetes API service and the pod are actually host network pod, so it's not in the class group members. In this case, if we want to support it, it would be nice to have the node selector support in the class group, which this one is not supported yet. Yeah, I think actually I believe it's not a complicated case, but we do miss this part, and it would be nice to have this to allow users to have more dynamic control against the Kubernetes API service with with the host network part. Yeah, I think
So,
last time Chuan, sorry.
no, the ask is basically to be able to apply a cluster network policies also to nodes and not only to pods, basically.
Yeah, I believe so.
Actually, not that case. This is not about the target workload the policy applies to. It's about the selector of the address in form or two of the
Okay.
rule.
Okay.
Because we already support node selector in Antrea cluster net policy, but we don't support using node selector in cluster group. However, in some scenario, user can only use cluster group to configure cluster net policy. So yeah, we are adding a missing, or we could say an inconsistent user experience with our API model, because other than node selector, all other selectors are available in both ASM cluster net policy and cluster group.
Okay,
Yeah, this is not related to applying policy to node itself.
got it.
Yeah, yeah. I probably provide the incorrect answer. Thanks, Chen, for clarification. I think this one would be, if anyone can work on this, maybe we can have it in 2.4, since it's already inconstant, and it's my least on confusion, I guess. Okay, I will move to next one. This one, I think it's actually related with the secondary network, feature. And for now, the new part will have a new MAC address, which looks like it concerns the users monitoring too. The list might be very long because of every part will have a new MAC address. So the user want to, assign a static MAC address for the secondary interface. And it looks like this one is already assigned. I'm not sure, Renisha, is this in progress? Any
I mean,
update for this?
yeah, this we started looking into it. Currently, just work in progress, not much discussions yet.
Okay. So we do plan to have it in 2.4, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I guess it's a valid request. So if anyone have more comments, maybe you can leave your in the GitHub.
Yeah, looks like
Maybe.
other CNI plugins also support this kind of like user is mentioning, right? Tuning meta CNI plugin, like kind of thing. Yeah, so I think it would be nice to have.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is this a default behavior to, have a static MAC address for other CNI? I feel probably it's nice to have some description what we gonna do in the comment, so we can involve our maintainers to take a look if it's reasonable.
Yeah, once we have more like investigation in other CNI as well, then we'll add some details for it.
Sure, okay, thanks. Okay, let's move to next. This one is to allow the IP removal from the external IP pool. I think for now we didn't support this kind of action to remove IPs from existing external IP pool, and it will be blocked by the webhook. Since looks like it's indeed a real use case that the customer want to remove something, so probably nice to have it. Okay, it looks this one is also assigned.
Yeah, just got assigned, so not yet started on the. This will start once he's back. He's on PTO for a week now.
Okay. I'm wondering is I'm not sure Chen or Jianjun have any comments for this one. I mean, I suppose it's reasonable, right? When we have the external people, but I want to remove some of them.
Yeah, I think it's a valid ask, but I don't know how important it is.
Yeah, might be not a common case, I guess, but the site is indeed a report by end user. it looks like have this kind of scenario.
Yeah, this was raised twice, I think, in the Slack channel, and we asked the reporter to open this issue. I feel we should support this because, as the reporter mentioned, the same operation could work in other solutions like MetaRB, and he does has the scenario he want the unused IP being removed, but once the external IP pool is configured, he can never remove it unless he clean up the whole IP pool and recreate it. There's no technical challenge to support this. I just didn't prioritize it. I think we could support such request.
Okay. Okay, let's move to next. This one's more about no policy related, and it's the customer wants to, limit or select the application level protocol, and one there are some protocols maybe use the dynamic port, and they would like to not based on the port, but based on the protocol to do the no policy control. It's for me it looks like an interesting request, and I saw there are lots of discussion between Tony and the user. I'm not sure is that some kind of conclusion yet, but this contributor would like to take it, but I didn't see any update to system. I feel it's probably not a high priority issue, right? Since it's application level. I'm not sure. Do we receive any similar requests before regarding this kind of support?
I do not remember any, but
Yeah, probably we can leave as it now, and if anyone interested in this issue, maybe can take a look. So far, it's not assigned. Okay, another one. Okay, this one I think this one is related with the bottom one, and we can use this according to Tony's comments. This one is actually a more general issue, which will cover the one here, the last one. And I think for now, the egress only supports a single IP, and in this issue, Antonio raised a new way to support the egress IPs with multiple IPs per egress. And of course, it can help to do the traffic load balancer, and also I think it may have the support like this egress IP with the availability zone affinity capability, I think. Yep, but let me check.
I think it is more important in agent scenario, right? Like multiple egress, same egress and multiple IP, each in different affinity zones. So second point is like actually valid, more valid.
Yeah, that's one is actually this one is a issue reported by the end user, and
Yeah.
Tony summarized those issue and created this more general issue to cover the one reported by the end user. The end user actually would like to have the egress IP to be aware of the availability zone, so they can, when those egress IP was assigned, it should be in the same availability zone with pods running in that zone. This is, I guess this is a rare case which reported by the end user. And for this one to support multiple egress IP, I guess it would be a more common way to do such a support. And yeah, I think it looks like this one is also have assigning the Phuket. I guess I'm not sure is there already any design or investigation for this inside
I
the
mean,
last
just kind of,
update of
yeah, and we started it in 2.3, but because of some other priority issues, we couldn't do much progress on it. But I think we are still back on it and just started to look into the different cases here, which you mentioned.
Yeah, okay. Since it's already assigned, I guess your Phuket already have some sort of design or rough
Yeah.
ideas about this.
Just rough ideas. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Question.
probably we can update the issue so we can see there's some progress for this, and also we can have more discussion besides maybe GitHub comments, so we can have more discussion, and even in the community we can discuss this the design or proposal.
Sure.
That's right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone like to comment this request. I guess it's a valid one, right? I think a long time ago we do discuss the egress load balancer, but not much conclusion. Sean, do you have any comment for this one? I mean,
No, I actually didn't figure out a feasible solution to achieve this. Because either we will sacrifice the stability of external connection, because if you want to balance the external traffic across nodes, you will have to adjust the load between nodes. Then every time you migrate some load, I think without synchronization of connection states, the external connectivity would be dropped. I think. Did I understand the issue correctly? It's to load balance. It's to balance traffic between across multiple egress IP, right?
Yeah, I think the purpose is to support egress multiple egress IP per egress.
Yeah.
Then I guess that also means different IPs in different egress nodes, right?
I read it more as distributing the traffic across multiple egress IPs, but the problem that Chance mentions exists because, like, a pod can be, I don't know, traffic can move from one node to the other, and then this problem will exist. I don't think that we should have the problem of a connection which is moving to a different node, because it seems like the ask that we have here is to have nodes which are assigned, I guess, statically an availability zone, and for each availability zone assign a distinct egress IP. So maybe when they talk about load balancing, it's more like distributing the egress traffic rather than doing a real load balancing of sessions, egress sessions from the same source. At least that's
You mean
how
like,
That's how I read the user ask.
Like readily selecting one egress IP so that overall the traffic should be distributed evenly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense too. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that would be. I'm not sure. Maybe we can have more description. Let's check with Anthony. So
yeah, from what I read here, it seems that Antonin pretty much figured out everything that needs to be done. So maybe we can just discuss with him.
I think basically the workload in that agent should be going via that egress IP, which is assigned in that agent. So it is like distribution of traffic more than load balancing.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would also support the issue which reported by the end user. Yeah, okay. Thanks. I think we can move to next. This one, I think it's an issue which we have some discussion before, and it's Windows related. That's one issue. I think. Let me check. There's some error, but it looks like it's not filled earlier. Then it leads some confusion to the user, and they spend some time to understand what's the issue. And I think the last comment which when replied is that she will try, but looks like there's no further update. I think from our side, one improvement might be to, to just like Antonio mentioned, we may fill earlier so that the user can identify the issue easier instead of get lost when they try to debug this kind of issue.
But in the issue description, do you know what is the issue? Like the wrong driver was loaded or something like that?
I think there are two issues. One is they actually need a assigned driver, but if they have no assigned driver, I think they need to configure it. And looks like we don't have such a document to point out that if they want to try it, they need to use a test assigned driver. But from customers' perspective, the environment and the test assigned driver are not compatible, and looks like they want to assign driver. But it looks like we don't have we didn't provide such a assigned driver right in upstream, I think. Yeah. So I guess there are two issues. One is we may need to update the document about the test assigned driver. I'm not sure if it's already some description there, but I will check with them. And I'm not sure. Maybe Shuyan, do you have any idea about that part?
I remember I used to have discussion with Wenying about this issue, and Wenying believed that we should not provide the signed driver to user, but we can also have discussion with Wenying.
Yeah, I didn't mean to provide a signed driver, but do we have any document to highlight that customer need test assigned? We actually use the test assigned driver, and there might be extra configs.
Yes, I remember we have such document.
Okay, that's good. And I think another part might be a follow-up is that maybe we can fill earlier, which when the customer have that kind of error to crash to fail to start the Windows agent. Yeah, maybe we can do the follow-up. Okay. Another one, I think this one, we already plan to have it at 2.4. In 2.3, the most works are done. The remaining effort is the agent control code. The PR is on the review, so we're probably good with this one. Next is this one. I think there's some issue when the Windows OS installation script has some issue when the system is not English version, but looks like the script cannot handle this kind of Windows when the localizations default localization is not English. So that Xuan mentioned we didn't clearly announce that we support some multi-language, right? The different localization, but looks like we do need to handle the error. We should make it work in the non-English Windows. I'm not sure should we support that. Okay, hello. Okay,
I guess
maybe we can.
I guess we should check whether it's possible to relying on the return code. I'm not familiar with Windows. I just don't know whether there is such thing. We know Linux has it, but we don't know whether Windows has it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Xuan, have you ever checked this issue before or discussed with Ren before?
Last time we discussed it, we Wayne think it's not necessary to support the German language environments, but for the return code question provided by Chen, maybe we can have a further discussion to see if we can solve this problem easier than we thought.
Yeah, probably make the error more understandable, I guess.
But anyway, we can't build a related CI environment to verify it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we don't
Yeah,
have.
this one might be not a high priority issue, but we may take a look at when there's some binwise, I guess.
Okay, sure.
Okay, okay. Next, I think this one is already fixed, but not the change is not merged yet. This one is the feature parity with the could project, I think, and this is not supported in Entropy config Entropy proxy, but I think Hong already submit PR for this. But it has been postponed a few times, and we'll probably can have it if we can have some bandwidth to move forward. But I guess this one is already handled. Okay, next. Okay, this one actually already covered by the one with multi-egress IP per egress, so we can skip it. Okay, I guess that's all issues reported by the end user. Later, I will maybe update the comment for what we have, if there's anything we can move forward. Yeah, I guess that's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Lan.
Any
That's been very
comments?
informative.
I think.
Do we have any comment or question on this list? Okay, so that might be all for today. Thanks all for joining this meeting, and talk to you in 2 weeks' time. Have a good time. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.